Hi, everybody. This is Norma Kia, and this is Patricia Gallimore, and we are Health with Soul Real Talk with Norma and Pat. So, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Pat?
Hey, I'm Pat Gallimore here. I own a small business here in Northern Nevada and Reno, G Fusion Health and Fitness. So I do a little bit of nutritional counseling, a little bit of toning, and also I teach Zumba. So yeah, been in the community here for about 34 years, and health is a passion for me. I worked at a job for 30 years, over 30 years, and we just sat around, sedentary job, and I just feel it's really, really important for us, especially as African American females, to get moving. And so that's kind of what my passion is health and fitness and nutrition. And
Okay.
it's very, very difficult to do sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, man. I'll introduce myself. My name's Norma Kia. I'm the owner of Kindred Health Coaching, and our mission is to provide affordable, accessible health and wellness programming for women. We have a flagship program called Anything But the Gym. It's completely free at the moment for women in Washoe County, and the idea is for women to do the 150 minutes of CDC recommended um, movement. And the reason why, one second. The reason why is because just like Pat said, movement is so important. It is preventative. It helps mitigate chronic illness and it just gives you a better quality of life. So that's why my goal is, I suffered from a stroke because I went sedentary for a while. And once I did that, that scared me enough to get me up and moving. And now my goal is to get other women up and moving so that, they can not suffer any a stroke like I did, or just to have fun and get healthy. So yeah. So today, what are we talking about, Pat?
We are talking about breaking down barriers for health
Okay.
and what's stopping us, us as women, as female, from
Uh-huh.
actually get up and get moving and thinking about our putting ourselves first. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I know. It's so easy to get it for your life to get in the way and for other things to take precedence over our own health and wellness, especially if you're a mother and you have kids, young kids. When I was a single mother, I didn't have time to do much of anything. And now you have to put your health first or you can't take care of other people, you know?
Yep. Yep. That's a
So,
very, very good point, Norma. You couldn't have said it any more eloquently than what you did. I mean, if we, the person that's the caregiver, if we're not healthy, who can we help?
right.
So that's the kind of the reason why we're here today, is to talk about that and see what the barriers are when it comes to initiating and putting ourselves first. Why aren't we
Mhm.
doing that? Why aren't we making the time? We make time to cook dinner, to clean the house, to take care of the kids, take care of our significant others.
Mhm.
But why aren't we taking care of ourselves?
Yeah. So what are some excuses you've heard people use?
Um, I just don't have time. I can't fit it into my schedule,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my response to that is, you can't not have time to fit it into your schedule. I mean, so I teach classes, I teach Zumba, I teach
Uh-huh.
classes 2 times a week. So in those 2 times a week that I'm teaching class, I don't, if anything is happening on that day, I tell them, I'm sorry, I can't do that at that particular time. So it's like folks got a schedule around me because
Mhm.
I want to put me first just for those two. It's only 2 days, but there's
Mhm.
other days too that I'll work around those. So
Mhm.
I think in terms of breaking a barrier down is that we have to take pride in ourselves and say no.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard people say that they feel intimidated
Mm.
about either going to the gym or they just don't know where to start when it comes to fitness and exercise and health. Um, and my suggestion is always like start where you're at. Start where you're at. It's really simple. Things don't have to be complicated. You don't have to you can do at home workouts, but that is one of the excuses I hear. And then another excuse is um, people don't want to like one thing, and I saw this on Twitter, and they were discussing how the hair effect when you're a black woman. It was It was the hair effect, you know. It's like they were discussing how they got their silk press, and they did not want that blown out. And I get it. I know exactly what they're talking about, right? You get a little sweat on those roots, and then it's done for, and there goes $300 $400 down the drain. So that's a real thing when it comes to a black woman. Like, what about our hair? And
I like
so,
it. That is true. No, no, I was that way because I know a lot of folks don't know, but I'll say, well, let's see, it's been 20, 22, 23 years ago. I had gastric bypass, so I was weighing
uh-huh,
280 pounds, right?
uh-huh.
So yeah, I can totally get. One of my things is that, oh my goodness, I got my hair done. It's going to sweat out
Yeah.
and it's going to frizz. So you know what? Thank goodness for the change in what we can do with our hairstyles now. So
Mhm.
I'll do a weave. We
Mhm.
can get braids. Hey, we can go natural.
Yeah.
Although natural, when they say natural, it's a lot of work. I'm sorry, that's a lot of work.
That's this right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Ooh,
yeah, yeah. It's a lot
yeah.
of work. Yeah, my daughter just came in here and she was like, "I'm gonna go natural." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, go for it." But
Uh-huh.
that's the reason why I do this. It's no fluff, no frills. I just go.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll comb it every now and again. A lot of times I don't even comb it, and people are like, "Aren't you gonna comb your hair?" I'm like, "No." So those are barriers. I think us, especially as African American females, yes, of course, we're cognizant of it. And, we
Mhm.
have to, but there's things that we can do to make it easier. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
and so as I said, when I go to my hairstylist, first thing I said, hey, I'm doing the weave again, because I can just throw it in a ponytail and I can do my thing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then and wash and go if I have to, because that's another. But that was a very very good point, Norma.
Yeah.
Some of the things that we have to deal with as being African American females.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's different. You know,
it is very good.
you wouldn't necessarily hear this from other clientele, but you do hear it from African American females. And it was just an interesting thread to watch that thread. And I said Twitter before, but I think he goes by X now.
Ah,
So, yeah, but it was
oh yeah,
interesting
that's
to
okay.
read that thread of it was a real concern in the community, and then the guidance that was given to the women, and people were saying that they are going to go out and try those suggestions. Like one was, you you really have to flatten your hair before you go to the gym. You flatten your hair, and then you want to put some like sort of silk wrap or something around it to keep it as flat as possible, so that it doesn't get sweated out. So, I mean, I don't, I have to try it now because my braids are out. I'm going to give it a try and see if it works.
Let's see how long till you go back to those
Yeah.
braids.
Let's see. Oh man, I gotta lay off the braids. My edges are hurting. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's just
See, yeah, the protective. That's the other thing. Once again, protective hairstyles, and the braids are heavy.
hmm
And I have very, very. Like, we're talking about us and our hair and things. I have very fine hair underneath here, so the way that my stylist does it, she braids it so it doesn't pull on it, and then I
uh
put a net. There's a net under here, so the weave is not into my hair; it's on
hmm
the net,
Oh,
so it
okay.
doesn't pull it. It doesn't pull it out.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that's a cop out or anything like that, because we got to start uplifting ourselves, especially us as African American females, Black women. You know
hmm
what? Hey, it's okay.
Right.
It's okay. Our hair is okay. Accept ourselves, for who and what we are, and yeah, we might have to spend a little bit more time and do a little bit more things, but everybody wants to be like us anyway, right?
There you
So
go.
start using, instead of having that as a barrier in terms of, my hair, I can't go out and do something because of my hair. Let's say, hey, you know what? We can do so many creative things with our hair. That's one of the reasons why we can go out and do all these other different things too. So,
Yeah. Okay. So I'm pulling something up on the Huffington Post. It says there's a reason more women don't exercise, and it's not what you think. So let's see what they had to say. They
okay.
said that more women don't exercise, and this is so lack of physical activity. Maybe this isn't the best one because of the
Mhm.
fact that it is British related. So we're not in Britain.
Mhm.
Oh, feeling tired. This is from the in Intimina. Feeling tired beforehand, feeling like exercise is difficult. That was 47% who said they feel like it's difficult. 49% said they feel tired beforehand.
Hmm.
42% said just not having enough time. So it goes back to what you were saying too.
Hmm.
Um, but like, let's talk about feeling tired beforehand. Um, that's that's legit. That
Yeah.
is legit. If you go exercise after work or after your full day, and you just don't have anything else to give, you feel like you're running on empty. That's tough. Or if you go exercise early, early, like me and my daughter we go exercise at 4 in the morning, and it's tough sometimes waking up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh, I need that extra 2 hours of sleep. I don't. I need to go hit that snooze button. But being tired beforehand, that's a legit reason why women. It's legitimate. So
Yeah.
do you? What do you? How about
So
yourself?
yeah, so with that, being tired, because I'm tired all the time. I'm
Hmm.
67 now, so now menopause came into play, and nobody talked about it a long time ago. But my goodness, that's a whole nother segment. But you know, making sure what we're eating, looking at what we're putting into our bodies. Sometimes a lot of us will drink caffeine, we'll drink the coffee, we'll drink the tea, and we think that it helps us in terms of giving us more, stamina. But in
Hmm.
actuality, sometimes it works the opposite. But no, I can't even talk right now.
Mm,
Nutrition is a big portion of what
yeah.
we need to be doing. Making sure that we're sleeping at night, getting those 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
What we're consuming in our or ingesting in our body, whatever, eating the greens, eating your vegetables, eating the fruits, things that are going to give us energy. So we got to start looking. I know for me, that's kind of what I do. I look at what I'm eating, what I'm doing. I know for me, I like I said, menopause is a whole new animal. So sleep, I don't sleep anymore. So yeah,
Hmm.
I'm just running on fumes all the time. But here's the deal, right? Once you get moving, your endorphins kick in and you get
Yes.
more energy. So it's just, I think it's mind over matter type
Hmm.
thing. You just got to do it. And once you start doing it, it takes about 15, 20 minutes for them to kick in sometimes. But once they kick in, you're like, whoa, I got
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. You're
So
awake.
I think, be having a positive attitude
Uh-huh.
about it and just,
Yeah.
just do it. And
Yeah.
I know I said, I see, I can say that because as I said, you and I, we're not going to sit here and we're not going to say, "Hey, do as I say, not as I do." Right? We're
Hmm.
we're trying to live that, whether we're doing it on a low key scale or on a high key scale, but we're trying to do it. So we're doing it kind of from experience. And
Hmm.
you just said, for you, part of it was your health issues and having a stroke. For me, hey, the same thing. I mean, my strokes run in my family, high blood pressure, diabetes.
Hmm.
That was my motivation. I didn't want to be my parents.
Yeah. You know,
So,
right. I learned that stroke runs in our family now after that.
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
even know. That was apparently how my grandmother died. But again, that's another segment.
I
Sorry,
know,
Mel.
I
But
know.
I don't
But
quite
I mean,
feel
we touch on it because that's all part of it. But
it
I
is.
think the most important part of is just to try, even if you're parking your car far away from the door when you're walking in to the grocery store. That even the little things make a big
Hmm.
difference.
It
And
does.
yeah, and the other side of it is if you don't do it, then things like strokes can happen, heart
Right.
attacks can happen,
Right.
diabetes. So that's the thing that you don't want to get to. That's what we're trying
Right.
to stop.
Well,
So
yeah, it's asking what are you willing to give up now
mhm.
in order to reap the benefits in the future.
Yeah.
So when it comes to being lack of feeling tired beforehand, if you go to bed earlier, like maybe you need to go to bed earlier to when I get up at 8, I mean at 4, I go to bed at 8 sometimes, 9 by the latest. So there is giving up that period at night
Hmm.
where, I could be watching TV, I could be just relaxing and doing things, but I'm willing to give that up at that moment because I know I have to wake up in the morning because I'm trying to reap something in my future, which is not to have another stroke, and which is being able to, as I mature and advance in life, I want to be that woman that is walking around and having fun and going on cruises and having, just enjoying life. So what do I have to give up now? And it's not giving up. It's what do I need to do now in order to make that as in order to see that possibility, and having a eye on the future, instead of on the moment. Um, I think that has a lot to do with health and wellness. It's very easy to look at the moment like, oh yes, I'll make the change. I'm going to make the change tomorrow. Oh no, I'm going to make it next week. I'm going to do it this time, but that time starts adding up, and then you're looking at your future. You have to look at there's a make the sacrifice now for the benefits tomorrow. So
Yeah.
um that's
That's a
how.
very good. That's a very good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very good point. And like I said, we're not going to talk. We're not talking at folks. We're just trying to give pointers. We're
Hmm.
looking at breaking those barriers. What are the excuses? Because we all have had. I mean, I've had
Oh
them.
yeah.
I remember when I first started this journey, which I've been starting this journey forever, because I was one of those chubby children. But
Hmm.
after I decided to do gastric bypass, not to look good, it was for my health benefits because if I had high blood pressure, borderline diabetes, cholesterol issues, joint issues, because that's the other thing. We never think about how it affects our body as a whole in terms of carrying all
Hmm.
that weight around.
Hmm.
So when I walked in the gym that first time, I was like, oh my goodness, look at all these skinny people. And then look at me. And then my
Hmm.
first class that I went to when I was doing some classes, and I was like, oh man, how am I going to keep up? And I was always in the back, right?
Hmm.
Always in the back,
Uh-huh. Hmm.
but it's just taking that first step and overcoming it and saying, you know what, I'm going to do it.
I
I'm
guess.
going to incorporate it in my life. And so that was breaking a barrier for me, was just going in and just doing it. And,
Right.
and having the support sometimes of your family and your friends as well. That's another thing too. So,
Oh, that's so important. And it's so also when you have a buddy, who will go in there and you can be each other's support system, especially if it's if the gym is foreign, if people haven't been in the gym before, having that buddy. And I will say something about gym culture. Uh, m- the majority of people that are in there are willing to help. They are willing to help. If you find the biggest bodybuilder looking person you can find in a gym, I guarantee you they will help you if you ask them. As long as you don't ask them. Now, don't ask them when they're in the middle of grunting and pushing you know, trying to get that weight up and trying to make that. But when they're on their rest, yeah, if you just ask them, hey, hey, how do you do this? The majority of them are super supportive and super willing to help and give advice. My and I say I did a bodybuilding competition, and we've been to many gyms around the area. We've been to some bodybuilder builder s type gyms too, and it's really a communal feeling. And I hate that people feel so intimidated by gyms, and I get why they would though, especially if you aren't used to going to it. But for the most part, people are actually okay and very willing to help out and
yeah,
give
yeah.
assistance. So,
That's very true. I worked graveyard at a gym after I retired from my job, and I just wanted to do something because I said, if I work at a gym,
hmm.
I get more accustomed to it, and hey, I'll work out as well. And in actuality, I work graveyard, so I was able to work out if at the front desk. I could put it on, just autopilot. People would
Yeah.
check in, but I'm walking around cleaning up the equipment, putting stuff away, and I'm able to work out, getting more familiar with it. It's just like you said, Norma. The folks are very, very friendly. They're there. Nobody's really watching you and really caring what you're
No.
doing,
Hmm.
but they will certainly help you if you ask them, or make eye contact them to do
Hmm.
that. And so that's, once again, that's breaking down a barrier, right? That's if you want to do the gym. But that's why I like your program too, Norma, right? Taking it back to yours, is that anything but the gym, right?
Yeah.
So you don't even have to step foot in that gym to do
Right.
little bitty things that can make big, big benefits on your health outcomes.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I mean, so with that being said, there's no excuse for you not to do something to get
Hmm.
yourself moving, right?
Yeah.
Because like I said, we were trying to break down the barriers. Well, that's a big, as I said, I like your program. It breaks down barriers. I mean, the title says it right there. The name says it. Anything but the gym. So you can do things where you don't have to even if that's what they want. An individual wants to do. If
Right.
they're intimidated by the gym, then there's other things that you can work on. And I'm quite sure Norma in the future is going to, give everybody, some folks and viewers and people that listen to the podcast, some pointers about how to start that and how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I was actually at an event and someone asked me, oh, does anything mean for anything but the gym mean you can just do anything, anything you want? I was like, no. Basically, anything but the gym just means that um,
You don't have to go.
there are different modalities to fitness.
Yeah.
And there's home fitness, there's yoga, there's Pilates, there's roller skating, there's
Yeah.
gardening, there's biking, it's anything but the gym, it just means it doesn't have to be the gym only.
You don't have to do the gym.
There are so many ways to start getting just movement. And you've mentioned it before. You just want to get people moving with Zumba, have fun while they're doing it.
Yeah.
But there are so many ways to get moving, and it's just not about doing exercise in a gym setting. It's just a plethora of modalities.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this one is at home fitness, super easy, accessible, and people feel like they can achieve it, and feeling like you can achieve your goal too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we're doing here with this podcast, me and Norma, we're calling folks out, right? We're saying, hey, why aren't African American Black women? Why aren't we out there? That's the reason why we wanted to kind of start to identify what some of those barriers were. But that's our take on it. Someone else, some of the audience, some of the other individuals out there, they might have something different to say.
Mhm.
But for us, being for me and Norma doing what we do and out in the public and seeing our African American females in Northern Nevada, we see a lot, right? And we
Mhm.
you know we see all different variations of it. And where we go, a lot of places, like when I go to the gym, I don't see hardly any of us, and I go at different hours. Like I said, I work
Mhm.
graveyard. I go sometimes. I used to go in the morning. I go during the day. I don't see us there. And I
Mhm.
go to different gyms because being a senior, I got silver sneakers. I can go to any gym I want to, and it's free.
Mhm.
And then, teaching, instructing my classes. Very few African American folks are in classes or in these sittings. And I'm not saying, I'm just basing it on mine. That might not be my experience from what I'm seeing here in Northern Nevada.
Yeah.
So, what's
So
your take on that, Norma?
I feel the same way, because again, we go to the gym, and we're going to different ones, and we're I see more men. I see more African American men than I do the females. And guys, I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's what I see, and it's
Mhm.
all again like you. It's different times too. So I see that, and then I just I see that there's a want to get healthy. People want to get healthy, but there's something missing to get to that point where it's actually actively doing the healthy stuff that people might need to do.
Mhm.
Um, and so, yeah, it's just I just want my people. I want my people to get up and moving. I just want my people to be healthy because healthcare is going to be a problem coming up, and we're going to have to take certain things into our own hands as much as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And so, if we're talking about breaking down barriers and
Mhm.
addressing excuses. So
Mhm.
there's certain things and there's certain things people can do to help lessen those barriers, like, schedule your workout time, um, get a buddy and have that buddy go with you, and give yourself incentives. Like, one of my big things, give yourself incentives when you do something great. If you went to the gym that whole week, indulge yourself somehow, congratulate yourself. Sorry if you heard that. Somehow congratulate yourself for doing that. So, there's the, use tips and tricks so that it will help you continue towards a path of health and wellness. So, what's your advice, Pat?
Yeah, same thing actually. A lot of that, or because for me, and I can only go on like on my personal experience of it was my reward to myself was is that I felt so much better after going and working out or walking or I snowshoe, I hike. I feel
Hmm.
so much better than not, right? And in terms of body and in terms of mind as well. And when I don't know, I used to feel guilty when I wasn't doing something, right? When
Hmm.
I wasn't actually working out or going and doing something. I'm like, wow, I got to get back to doing that. But I actually get back to doing it because
Uh-huh.
that's the other thing too. We can get into this mode of, okay, I'm going to go the next day. I'm going to go the next day. And the next day never happens. But,
Yeah.
for me, what made me love it and embrace it was is I felt so much better.
Hmm.
And the other thing was is that you go to the doctor, your blood pressure. I went today to the doctor, my blood pressure was 100 over 70, which I take it at home as well. And
Hmm.
I'm like, 100 over 70. Well, that's really low for me, actually. So she's asking me, she's like, are you dizzy? I'm like, no, but I'm like, that's what I want it to do. I want it to be at a manageable place where all those things you're gonna feel so much better about them.
Hmm.
So the only thing I can say to my African American female counterparts is try it,
Yeah.
and try it, give it time. So say for give it 30 days, give it I'd say 60 days,
Yeah.
in terms of changing what we're doing with our behaviors. I'm not just saying the gym. I'm saying walk. If you have an animal, a pet, walk your dog. Hike. We're in Northern Nevada. We have so many beautiful things that we can do.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
And that's you hit on the notes there. This is behavior change.
yeah,
And behavior change takes time, it takes effort, and it takes people being gentle with themselves too.
yeah,
So if you, what is that? If you don't succeed, try
yeah,
again. Keep trying again. Keep trying, going to the gym. Keep trying, going out and walking. Whatever it
yeah.
is that you want to do, keep trying and trying it until you just get that consistency that
Get
you
that habit.
need and that habit.
Yeah,
Because it does become a habit once you start feeling the benefits. Like you said, it would give yourself about 60 days. It becomes a little bit addictive where you're just like, ooh, I need to go to the gym.
yeah.
You
I
can
know.
feel the difference. You're like, oh, I didn't go to the gym today.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
mind's a little off today.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I need to go. And so, it just give
yeah.
yourself a chance to build a habit. But yeah, so that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
That
So,
yeah, that's all. That's very very true. Because like I said, that's how I was. I'd be like, I would feel guilty, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like next week I'm going to have to cancel a couple of classes. Or one day is Juneteenth, but the next one because I have a meeting to go to.
mhm,
And I'm like, oh man, well, I'm going to have to step in the gym or go in my garage because I have a bicycle in the garage or lift some
uh-huh,
weights at home. Heck, that's the other thing too that we don't think about how mindlessly you can do something. Like we could sit here and we can be doing this podcast and we could be doing some weights right
yeah,
there. That's
yeah,
the other thing. There's just minimal things that you can do that will make a big, big, big impact on what
yeah.
you're doing. It's just a matter of doing it.
So before we wrap it up, I have to tell this story. Me
Okay.
and my husband, we went bike riding this morning, and we biked by the river. And there was a man, an unhoused man, and he was sitting in the rocks by the river, Pat. And he had a just a maybe a 5 pound rock, and he
Oh,
was doing bicep curls.
are you?
And I was just like, oh, if he can be out here doing bicep curls. And he had striations in his shoulders, so you could tell he was working out. And I guess he was using rocks, but he was doing his thing. I was like, now I have no excuse. I
I
have
love it. So
no
yeah,
excuse.
So,
Like,
and and the folks that are going to hear this, they're not going to have an excuse either, right?
yeah.
I mean, I like that. Oh, wow, get
Oh
on.
yeah.
See,
I
yeah, I like that.
I would have
That's
taken a
cool.
picture of him, but I was like, oh no, he don't want a picture, and this is privacy. But oh,
Yeah,
he had a
yeah,
rock, and he was going. I was like, my God, look at his
mhm,
shoulders. They look
yeah,
great. His
yeah.
bicep, he looked great actually, and
I like it. No,
it's
I'm
like
I'm
there's
gonna
no
use that.
excuse.
I'm gonna use that. Use it doing a rock. I like it.
Yeah,
So, and that's kind of what we're gonna be doing, right? We're just gonna give,
yeah,
stories, tell some stories, give some factual data, but our goal is just for us, for Africa, to get our African American females, and we can do it because guess what? We're the expert on it. Because Norma and
yeah,
myself, guess what? We're African American females, as
yeah.
well as we've been through some stuff, right?
Mhm.
I mean, like I said, I was
Mhm.
280 pounds. I had 4 C-sections, died almost through all except for one, almost died through every one of them,
Wow.
and it's just so important that we take care of ourselves, because we can't take care of those ones, our loved ones, and that's what that's what we want to talk about, is just making sure that
Yeah.
we're there, as Norma was saying earlier in the program, is that do something now, so that later on you benefit from it later on, and
Yeah.
that's the whole gist of it. We just couldn't sit back and say, oh man, forget them. Let them just go ahead and not do anything, eat the bombs, but we care
Mhm.
because we've lived it. We've experienced, Norma almost having the stroke,
Mhm.
myself, with, I won't even, we'll talk all about all the isms and all the
Right.
issues that I've had. I mean, not the gastric bypass was easy, not at all, because I had every complication that there was afterwards. And then all my friends, I watched them get down to size zeros, and Pat's at 10, 12 still. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So then dealing with that thing in the mind, right?
Yeah.
So,
That's another
and it's
segment.
okay. And saying
Yeah.
that it's okay to be thick, right? It's okay.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
totally, because everybody else wants that now. So,
Right. Look,
yeah.
I'm writing this down for a segment. It's okay to be thick.
All right, it's okay to be. It is, because that's the trend now. Folks are going and getting BBFs, or what, Brazilian butt
BBL.
lift,
Yeah.
and larger, and we were born with mostly all of that stuff, right? We don't got
Yeah.
to do that, and so yeah, that's it's okay to be thick, yeah, but just be healthy and thick. That's
There
the
you
thing.
go. There you go.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right. Well, this was great. Uh,
yeah.
this is our first segment, so woo
Yeah.
woo, more to come. Yay.
Yep, yep, yep.
Okay.
I'm excited, and maybe we can get some live ones going, and get
Yeah,
some folks. I know my husband was like, "Well, can I call in?" I'm like, "No, not this one. No, because
I know.
yeah,
Figuring it out.
yeah, get a following and get some folks out there, because that's what we're trying to do. As I said, is just bring it to the forefront, because I don't think that we get enough in terms of African American females about really what our plight is. Norma
Yeah.
talked about the hair situation when we're exercising, right?
Hmm.
Nobody's addressing that, right? And we
Yeah.
need to be talking about it.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely. All right.
yeah.
Well,
Right.
we will see what we're going to talk about next Friday,
All
and
right.
hopefully we can do it live. So,
Yeah, yeah, we're
yeah.
gonna prep. Maybe you and I meet, and test it out.
Okay. All
All
right.
righty.
Okay.
Cool.
We'll talk to you later then.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks
Bye.
everybody who's gonna listen.
Bye,
Thank you. Bye
everybody.
bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Let's
Oh, wait.
see.
Stop.
Let's see.